He said they found suspicious materials inside a tent he had set up on the steps of the church. Gary was arrested and charged with unlawful entry, threats to kidnap or injure a person, and possession of a Molotov cocktail. He also had vials of liquid and what appeared to be fireworks. St. Matthew's Cathedral was celebrating the Red Mass, an annual mass to mark the start of the U.S. Supreme Court term. Bill Alexander, Washington.
A truck driver has filed a lawsuit against former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez and Fox Corporation following a bloody fight police say was started by Sanchez. The lawsuit accuses Sanchez of starting a fight outside a downtown Indianapolis hotel. The altercation left the 69-year-old truck driver seriously injured. More of these stories at townhall.com.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
So I have a major issue with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. I've had just one course in journalism. That was focused on newspapers, but print or broadcast, rules for good reporting are the same. Basic, facts, facts, facts. There was a time I picked up a story with facts and sources of some cops stealing while investigating a crime. A fur and leather shop got burglarized. Some coats went into squad cars. After I reported the story, the chief called and said I should have run the story by him before we aired it. And then I was threatened I would no longer be allowed in the police station. Well, of course, I continued. I was gung-ho First Amendment. Now comes Pete Hegseth issuing a memo saying reporters must sign an agreement that they won't run any story unless it's cleared by the Pentagon, even if it is not classified. And reporters violating this rule would lose press credentials. So, Hegseth, you were with Fox News for years. Now you are Secretary of War. But in this case, this battle, you were on the wrong side of our First Amendment.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
You want the best place to watch baseball or any sport and be able to enjoy premium cigars and whiskeys? Lit Cigar Lounge. Lit has so many events each month. You need to constantly check the Lit Cigar Lounge Facebook. You don't want to miss anything. Plus, you can order food from Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta, delivered within minutes right to your table. By the way, we're in the season for great patio dining. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta has your table waiting. The Napoli heritage of fine dining continues with Napoli Kirkwood. Napoli Kirkwood, now open. So add that to Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2 in Town and Country, Napoli 3 in St. Charles, right next door to Napoli C. And don't forget about Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the district, Chesterfield Valley. All of those locations, plus now, open Napoli Kirkwood.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Oh, give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't vex me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't vex me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't vex me in. Don't vex me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. I was actually looking for some Taylor Swift music because I didn't have it. I have all kinds of music, and I don't have any. I actually like her. I think she's exceedingly talented. And I think you conservatives out there who otherwise have been kind of knocking her, that kind of thing, might want to give her another look, because she is the object of yet another left-wing temper tantrum, this by the feminazis. So, I mean, I'm telling you what, the Democrat Party and the left, these people are the most joyless, hapless people on the planet. They just cannot win. And they look dumber every time they open their mouths. I mean, this is like even the past 24 hours, it's been so bad for them. I'll start with the latest. The Pope's boyfriend, Dick Durbin, trying to hand it to Pam Bondi at this Judiciary Committee hearing. It didn't go very well.
Word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
We'll take the check. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I mean, that is epic. And I love Pam Bondi, and I know that every once in a while, it seems like everybody's kind of on the hunt for like a Pam Bondi mistake, you know? Why isn't she doing this? I was like, I know, but it's still, as I said before, Pam is just one of the many cat women that Batman has in his cabinet, and I love her. And I even like the way she talks. So that's that. So then we had that this morning, and I will tell you though, Dick Durbin's kind of such a Winnie the Pooh type of dude that he just sat there and took it. Now, normally, like let's say it was Hakeem Jeffries, he'd be so uppity and offended and everything else. He'd try to trample all over her and everything else. So to Dick Durbin's credit, he actually proceeded to let her perform a fact enema on him without raising a peep, which was interesting. Then we had this terrible thing that Nicole Wallace over there on MSNBC. As you know, Nicole Wallace in her background is one of a former Republican. So she worked for John McCain and the horrible John McCain, and in fact was the architect of the smear campaign against Sarah Palin. And everything bad that happened to Sarah Palin, whether it be Katie Couric interviews or whether it be leaks about this or leaks about that, came from Nicole Wallace. She was the one. In all likelihood, because Nicole Wallace probably was intimidated by the beauty and intelligence of Sarah Palin as compared to this sexless rube named Nicole Wallace. So it probably just instantly turned her into a mean girl and did that to Sarah Palin. Since that time, then she became a never Trumper. She's part of that whole cabal, and they insinuate somehow that in some way, shape, or form that Nicole Wallace is, because she's a former Republican, she has instant credibility, and you all know how that winds up, right? How many Republicans have you seen on TV? And it's like, oh, really? Okay. And their main worth is just so that people could say, oh, it's ironic, isn't it, that a former Republican or a Republican is hammering Donald Trump. That's kind of how that goes. So fast forward to this morning and overnight, where we had the destruction of, and it was a fire at a house of a South Carolina judge. And this judge had made several types of rulings, or at least one or two that I know of, that were against the Trump administration. And automatically, the assumption among the left, if you just go to the litter box known as X, you could see that. And they're insinuating somehow that Donald Trump's people blew up this house, even though the fire department has immediately said that the fire is not suspicious, that it might have been some furnace or something that exploded and the fire's there. So it was, as of this morning or last night, it was a done deal that this fire was not considered to be suspicious. So Nicole Wallace goes on television, and by the way, this is a disqualifying mess here. This is disqualifying bias. Anybody else, and somebody mentioned on X that in proper society, these people would be taken off the air.
When we come back, what we're learning about the fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina circuit court judge who faced criticism from Trump officials after a ruling she made against the Trump administration. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein.
So I'm trying to figure out, by the way, at one point, MSNBC, I thought they were going to change their name. Can anybody give me an update on that? Because I don't understand how. I thought they were going to change their name and do all this kind of stuff. And the NBC president came down and told some of these hacks on MSNBC, like, hey, you guys need to chill out over the Charlie Kirk thing, and you need to do something more balanced here. So I don't know where these people are now, but for some reason, the MSNBC people are back to their old tricks.
Temporarily block the Justice Department from accessing the files of millions of registered voters in South Carolina. Mary McCord is still with us. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
I don't know. Why don't you ask the fire chief? Because the fire chief then would tell you that the fire is not suspicious. But these two harpies are sitting here just kind of telling ghost stories to each other about Trump being responsible for blowing up a judge's house.
This is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings.
I mean, come on. It wasn't an attack. You talk about crossing a Rubicon. I mean, oh, Lordy, this is crossing a Rubicon. My goodness. I mean, and that's kind of how the left, how they've been spending their day. There's still one more. I mean, this is in Portland. This is what they're calling Grand Tifa. A bunch of old, washed up hippies in Portland have finally found kind of a cause, to break out their muumuus and their Birkenstocks and head to the Portland city center and sing Peter, Paul, and Mary tunes. Although I don't know. I don't know whether that's Peter, Paul, and Mary. Is it Arlo Guth? I don't care, really, honestly, It's really not. It's an inaccurate song, though. Probably paved the way for all the illegal invaders because they heard this song. Hey, the Americans say this land is your land, this land is my land. So we can just go across the border, Look at me attacking such a sweet little grade school song. It's a whole group. This is like the left-wing cocoon. It's just unbelievable to listen to these people, but they finally found a cause to take up and get involved in, and that's the deal. So these guys are just making fools of themselves every step of the way. They can't win. I mean, the sombrero memes are still popping up. This is just amazing and super fun. I mean, if you get past all the violence and stuff like that, it's actually super fun. Obviously, there's been some commentary about that tape I played for you at the top of the show yesterday of the dispatcher and the direction to stand down. There are some people saying that with this kind of action on the part of the police and beyond, somebody's going to get killed here. And that is when things are really going to start to blow up. And also I'll be covering, of course, the feminazis apparently now targeting Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift can learn a lesson from all this, is that not even liberals can stoop so low that they'll even attack one of their own. And I have no doubt Taylor Swift is liberal, but I don't care because I have a ton of respect for her. I think she's hugely talented, and she's a model for, I think, any young girl out there. I'll tell you that, who wants to aspire to be a small business person or just a creator or whatever. She really absolutely does. So, but she's getting it hard just because of her wedding plans. You can believe that. So also coming up, Christopher Arps of the Tim Jones and Christopher Arps Show. This is the 2-year anniversary of the atrocities in Israel. Christopher Arps, when he was over in Israel, visited the kibbutz where some of the murders happened, and I wanted to get his reflections on this day. It was an absolutely terrible day that too many people have forgotten. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is the 3 Martini Lunch. It's Common Sense Radio.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Well, just had a conversation with a potential home buyer. It was a client of mine, and he got back to me this morning and had said, hey, Jamie, I'm filling out the paperwork with Jordan right now, and we're probably not going to go for that house that you showed me on Saturday, but we're going to look for more. And now that we have this pre-approval, we're going to be on target. And that is, of course, from my friends at Stewart's American Mortgage, Jordan Rosenblum, as well as his dad, Stewie, who's from Brooklyn. And he said, we got to come up with something that defines our brand in terms of zero closing costs, zero titling fees, zero fees for credit pulls and all that kind of stuff. And guess what they did? They call it the bagel loan. So one thing that my homeowner client, my potential homeowner client is going to love is the low rates. He's getting pre-approval. Then he's going to get the low rates. He's going to get the no closing costs, and it's going to be pretty amazing. And I told him that, and he's super happy about it. And obviously Jordan has talked to him already. Whether that be the refis or the debt consolidations, that too is a huge deal. And again, no closing costs on those. Keep in mind, some people are thinking, well, you know, if we just wait for a little bit, the rates will go down again. It's like, well, the rates are lower now. You might as well go ahead and do it. And then if the rates do go down further, then just refi again. And it's not going to cost you any money at all. That's the promise of Stewie's American Mortgage, StewartsAMC.com. All you have to do is Google the bagel loan. Zero closing costs, zero fees. These guys who are charging you to pull credit, whatever, is absolutely not right, and it doesn't happen with the bagel loan. The bagel loan. Just go ahead and Google it, and then when you call them, tell them Jamie sent you.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris. How are you, Vic? I don't want to put anybody else down, but when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good, casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hey, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show, and I'm here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, does having more economic freedom make a difference in people's lives, such as maybe helping reduce poverty?
It definitely makes a difference. Economic freedom is critical for fostering well-being and prosperity. It enables people to make their own choices and pursue their own interest, like choosing careers, starting businesses, and innovating to make the world better. It thrives in environments that empower people, promote competition, and protect property rights, all while being supported by limited and healthy government. Economic freedom is a catalyst for generating higher incomes, greater wealth, more opportunities, better access to education, and improved health at all levels of society. It makes a difference.
The John W. Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University fosters and examines market-oriented approaches to economic and social issues. To learn more, visit hammondinstitute.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. And I will tell you that one of the things about Newstetter's, and this is wowdiamonds.com, that's the website. And honestly, listen, there are a ton of people out there selling jewelry, right? But there are only a few people who really have that kind of depth, who really are actually jewelers and not salespeople, people who know the products and also are really committed to customer service. Richard Newstetter knows all about customer service when he was a little boy, well, 17, working for Jackers Jewelers downtown, the legendary Jackers Jewelers. You learn a lot as a young man when you're working with pros like the folks at Jackers. And so he carried that into his business, now running family-run operation for 40 more years, right there at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend. And listen, I know it's October, but December is not far off. They have a layaway program. Like, that's so old school. That's so famous bar. You know what I mean? They got a layaway program. They have a wish list, so you can go in there and you can pick something out like a emerald or ruby necklace or ring, or some of the many gold products they have out there. Or guys, you can pick out the bull of a watch, the Frank Sinatra bull of a watch, what have you. Beautiful earrings, diamonds, the wow diamonds, the lab-grown diamonds, as well as the mine diamonds. And you go ahead and fill out that wish list. And when Honey Bun says, hey, what do you want for Christmas? You can point them in the right direction. And that would be in the direction of Doherty Ferry and Big Bend and wowdiamonds.com. God is welcome here is over the door. Friendly people, love them. I am part of that family, and I'm absolutely privileged to be so. wowdiamonds.com. That's wowdiamonds.com.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
For a moment I escape and I forget the silhouettes behind the dust clouds call me friend. But even fools don't hear the far and few between. She is a neon.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here. Ashland over there. Ashton, is it cold in here, or am I just going through menopause or something? Or
No.
is that what happens when you go? I don't know. Huh?
It's chilly.
It is chilly in here. It's storm meat in here. I need your love, everybody. All right, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. I think I already said that. Don't hold me to it. So, man, I'll get to this sheriff here really quickly because I'll get to the more serious business here regarding this ICE situation in Chicago and really what could be the building possibility of some kind of civil war. I mean, this is where this kind of stuff starts because unfortunately what happens is, well, I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of civil war, just so you know. I'm not like hoping that happens because I don't think it'll be good. I especially don't think it'll be good for the left, but that's another story. I can explain that to you very easily. But if you go back to the day, yeah, Julie says it's because it's Antarctic outside already. I know it's cool. What's going on here? Clouds. What's going on? That's supposed to be cloudy in October. Anyway, my pool is still open. Anyway, so you guys remember the beginning kind of the American Revolution. And it started with the shooting of Crispus Attucks. And Crispus Attucks was a longshoreman. And he and that group, yes, Julie, below 80 is absolutely unacceptable. So he was a longshoreman. And what the British soldiers were doing is they were the crown. I mean, man, the British were so evil. But let me tell you something. They were only about 30% as evil as our current federal government. And I'm talking about just taking Trump administration, all the changes out. The oppression of our federal government is 100 times worse than the British crown. And we shot those people with musket balls. I'm not saying we should do that. I'm just telling you that's what was going on. So anyway, Crispus Attucks was a longshoreman. And what the British crown was doing then, because they didn't want to pay their soldiers and everything else, they had the soldiers just take jobs from the longshoremen. So they had these British fops in their dumb little uniforms coming out. Hi, I'm the new longshoreman now. And Crispus Attucks and his team were like, what? So one day they all came down and, acted like, well, we'll take your job. Thank you. Bye. And Crispus Attucks and a couple of these other guys said, no, that's not going to happen. And we're not letting you onto the dock. Crispus Attucks was a very tall black guy or mixed race. I can't remember which one it was. And he was allegedly holding a stick or whatever. And one of the British soldiers shot him. And, that was well before the actual start of the American Revolution. In fact, John Adams, who was a Boston lawyer at the time, defended the British in the trial, who later became the second president of the United States, of course. But that's what lawyers do. You hire them and they do that. What I'm saying is it doesn't take much for things, just a little thing like that to blow into something really super major. And we already saw it with the George Floyd. I mean, you see how easy it was to get all these cockroaches buzzing and Violet and everything else, the death of one of their drug addict heroes. And so it could go either way. I mean, here's what happens is these people kill an ICE agent. There's going to be trouble. It's not going to come from me. It's not going to come from you. But there will be trouble. And I guarantee you, because I talked to Joe Adams about this before, there are people on the right out there who are planning in the event of something like that happening. Now, of course, if it is a person on the left, and I have no doubt that's what Democrats are praying for right now. And you think, oh, come on, Allman, you're being so hyperbolic. You're doing this, you're doing that. I'm not kidding you, because I think the Democrat Party is just this cynical. I mean, look at this guy in Virginia, this Jay Jones character who fantasized about killing kids, and GOP lawmakers shooting him twice in the head. These people are violent people. The Democrat Party is a party of violence. You just have kind of these operators, the Bidens of the world and the Kamala Harrises of the world and Tampon Tim of the world, and those people who are just kind of like the people who are sitting around all innocent, but egging people on, and they are dog whistling all of the crazies out there. And so I have no doubt, and I'm not saying this just for effect, I have no doubt that there are fixtures in the Democrat Party who are praying for a left-winger to get shot by a federal agent. And if I didn't know any better, although thankfully I think Trump and the rest of the gang, President Trump, were able to kind of fumigate the deep state, whatever. But the one thing you have to also keep in mind, the possibility that it actually will be an orchestrated killing of a left winger coming from some of the deep state leftovers, just to foment a major catastrophic civil war. And you guys think I'm crazy, right? You think I'm conspiratorial? If I had told you in 2015 that the FBI was spying on Donald Trump, what would you have said? Oh, come on, man. I didn't do that. I got to do that. And they did. So as far as I'm concerned, once that happened, and all that, and we found all this other stuff, I keep saying to people, the one thing I still cling to in terms of believing it happened was the moon landing. But I can be convinced that didn't happen also. But that's the one thing I think is real. Feels like I would have believed it. I know, but keep in mind, maybe you would have, but back in those days, it was like, man, they wouldn't dare spy on an American president. But then, of course, you do add it all up, and the way the deep state killed Kennedy and Martin Luther King and RFK and all the rest. It's Malcolm X probably too. It's probably not. But anyway, we're getting to this point where something bad could happen, and we got to be really careful that there aren't people out there who are not only wanting it to happen, but engineering it. I mean, I am surprised and thankful to God that it hasn't happened yet. I think that as violent as things have gotten and as terrible as things are, I'm so thankful that we haven't reached that purely primitive state of life yet. So if you, I know it's going to be weird to say, but it says something about not only the left, but also the right, in that, you could be just close to beating each other to a pulp, but so far no one's been killed. But that's not going to take long if we don't watch out. This is the sheriff. His name is Grady Judd. He's a Florida sheriff, and he is reflecting on this tape I played you yesterday of the ICE agents being told to stand down by the Chicago police.
I've spent my entire adult life in law enforcement, and I have never heard of one law enforcement agency not helping another when they call for help until this weekend, when a chief of patrol, where the Chicago Police Department instructed the police officers not to run in and help their colleagues who were calling for help, who were under attack by a bunch of people clearly violating the law. That's scary. Let me give you the antithesis of that. We had a single man resist ICE agents and get away from them in our community. We sent a helicopter, a drone, K9, and 50 law enforcement officers to surround an area And we found that guy who violently resisted ICE, and we locked him up in jail where he should have been. If you allow anarchists and criminals to run wild in your community, people will die. People will be shot. Now, let me say this.
I mean, that's scary, and it's true. And he's right. It's about time. I'm sorry. Has any other law enforcement person on the planet said anything yet about what happened there? I'm glad he did. It's a Florida sheriff. So I'm hoping, I'm not really scared of the advancement of AI and the creation of robots or whatever, because I think that one of our first priorities would be to build a plant where we create Florida sheriff robots. And they're all programmed like Sheriff Judd. And then all you do is you have a sheriff in every county that is a robot. But they're all duplicates of Grady Judd. I could live in a society like that where we have like robots as the sheriff, because the fact is all these other awful human beings out there who are sheriffs aren't going to cut it and going to get somebody killed. And we need more people like Sheriff Grady. And you guys think I'm kidding about that sheriff robot factory. I'm not. 10 years from now, when I'm a millionaire and I have $1 billion yacht because of my Florida sheriff robot factory, you won't be laughing then, will you? No, you won't. All my pictures on Facebook of me lounging. Oh, no, I'd still do the show. Don't worry. Hey, guess what? Chris Arps is coming in because we're going to step back a little bit and take a breath on behalf of our Israeli brothers and sisters murdered 2 years ago today in Israel. This is Common Sense Radio, the Allman Report on Newstalk STL.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
Female millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Window World. I was just thinking about Window World yesterday because I had a client who was they had a home, and for some reason the window wasn't fixed or whatever. So I had to call my guys at Window World to set my lovely clients up with a new window. Gonna just forget it. We're gonna just get it taken care of. Don't worry about it. That's how things are gonna go. And Window World responded automatically. They were great to work with. And that's just typical. That was like a little emergency situation, But for those of you who are wanting to not only beautify your home, because these Window World windows look good from the inside and the outside of the house. But if you're not only looking to beautify your home, but also to kind of seal it up, to save on your heating and cooling bills, these are double paned windows that are thermally superior to all the rest, and they look good. And just for the sake of argument, speaking of home sales, they also improve the value of your home. I don't know how many people have come in to a house, and a couple things they look at right away: the kitchen, and the basement, and the windows. And I see it all the time. That's just anecdotal evidence. And so beautiful windows create a beautiful home and beautiful value to your home. If you want to do a whole house project, they have a wonderful financing program for you. They are simply the best for less, but they still will finance that for you at 314-993-1800. The Good Housekeeping seal of approval. And of course, a big old thumbs up from Qualified Remodeler Magazine, which says, whoa, boy, you guys sell a lot of windows. In fact, you sell more windows than anybody else in the world. So Window World fits. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 plus a lifetime warranty, the official and preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
Want to work with a winner? Follow the multiplier. 279 times growth in total market cap in the past nearly 30 years. 50 times growth in client assets. And ranked the #1 wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction by J.D. Power 3 years in a row. Choose a winner. Choose Stifel, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Columbo and Company.
Neither side showing any signs of backing down. How long could this government shutdown last? We'll talk about it Tuesday. Plus, Crane Durham from NothingButTruth.com and Susie Moore from Red State.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. I never forget this. It was a Saturday morning. Or was it a Sunday morning? I can't remember now. As horrible as it was, this was a weekend, you know. Saw all these horrible images. It was like, what is this? What's going on? How is this possible? And it just was so open and so it was like it was a bad dream. Well, I can only imagine what the massacred Israelis were thinking at the time. It's just absolutely just outlandish and totally unacceptable, and yet seemingly acceptable to a lot of the people we see out there and ignored in its gravity by a lot of people out there. One of the people I definitely wanted to talk to on the second anniversary of this massacre was Christopher Arps, who went out of Israel. He and Tim Jones did. And man, the stories they told, because there were so many things that went on while they were over in Israel, but the stories that they told, and when Christopher was talking about it too, were so compelling because they were at the site of one of the dimensions of the massacre, the kibbutz, and that field there and the concert. It was just like hard to believe. So I had to talk to Chris because I know today, whereas I know that you'd be just as concerned about this anniversary and thinking about it today, but man, the fact that you were actually there several weeks ago must add a very, very a deeper type of appreciation for the horror of what went on. Chris Arps, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Jamie. Thank you for having me, my friend.
Yeah. So, first of all, what was it? I mean, I can't imagine what it's like because, you know, to a certain degree, it's almost like going to a death camp, one of the death camps, because it must have had that kind of feel to you, correct?
Yeah, it did. You know, you can read about the stories, you can hear the stories, but when you're actually over there at the Nova Music Festival site where we were at, or you visit one of the kibbutzes where 16 people were massacred, it just makes it really, really real. And, you can have a difference of opinion about Israel and Palestine. Should there be a Palestinian state? Should Israel give up the land? I think that's a legitimate question. But, and from my Judeo-Christian standpoint, I believe that the Jewish people should have that land. I think God gave them that land. But if you can't have any type of sympathy or empathy for what happened on October 7th, you're demonic and you're soulless.
Yeah, I would say, and oddly enough, people continue to kind of whitewash it. I mean, I don't want to focus. I don't really care what Zoran Mamdani says, but just as an example, he marked this anniversary today by basically blaming the victims. So it was like, dude, okay, why don't you say you remember this day, and then but instead of going another few paragraphs about how Israel is committing its own form of genocide. So anyway, but I think that a lot of people feel that way and don't understand the gravity of this assault on humanity, which is what that was. And when you're over there and when you're milling about with other Israelis, what are they saying about it? Or what are they talking about?
I mean, this was devastating to them. This was the worst attack on Israel, on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. The Holocaust was 70 plus years ago. So this is something that deeply resonates with them. One of the things that Jewish people say since the Holocaust is never again. And it really was never again for 70 plus years until this absolute massacre happened. I tell you, Jamie, we were at the Nova Musical Festival site, and I sent you some pictures and some video.
Yeah.
I mean, it really brings it to life how many people were massacred when you see the makeshift memorials with pictures of the victims on poles, and it just goes on and on and on for forever. They've also made a makeshift memorial of all the cars that were left over after the Nova Musical Festival. These terrorists, they shot up these cars, they burned these cars, burned people alive. One of the most horrific stories that we heard was we saw a burned out ambulance, and some of the kids ran into the ambulance to try to hide from the terrorists. Terrorists knew they were in there. They shot up the ambulance. The people still didn't come out. They tried to smoke them out. That didn't work as well. So they just shot a rocket propelled grenade into the ambulance. And you can see a picture of it. It's just the whole side of the ambulance, of course, is just blown up and killed everyone inside. But probably one of the most moving scenes that I saw of one of the cars that was riddled with bullets. The windshield was riddled with bullets. And Jamie, it was 4 people in the car, and there was a baby seat in the back of the car, and all 4 people were murdered on that day.
Wow.
So, if you can't have any empathy or sympathy for that, as I said, you are a demonic, soulless person.
Yeah, and I'm so glad actually, and these pictures in the video you sent were really just wow. And I'm sure for you sitting there, it's like you probably never thought you'd ever actually be in this place 2 years ago, and yet here you are. And I'm actually glad that the Israelis kept this as a memorial, didn't clean it up, didn't remove anything. In fact, very compelling are these pictures of the individual memorials, and they have the pictures of everybody there. So if you were of each person killed, and if you were to step back, it would almost be like seeing them all in a group, and then absolutely getting the gravity of that massacre. Not to mention what happened at the kibbutz level. And then those burnt out cars and everything else. I think it really is not only I'm glad to see the memorial, but I'm also glad to know it's a reflection of how the Israelis are never going to forget this.
Yeah. And, when Tim and I were over there, there was a brand new museum that opened up probably 6 months prior to that. That was a museum to October 7th. And, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. There was a mother there that talked to us who lost not only 1, but 2 of her daughters on October 7th. And for her to just have the courage to retell that story to us and really live through it again was just amazing to me. But I think it also just shows the resiliency of the Jewish people. They have been harassed and kicked out of countries for thousands of years. And it just shows their resiliency. And as I said, probably the national slogan for Israel is never again, and for the Jewish people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's really so odd to see how the script was flipped on this. And I mean, it wasn't but days after the massacre that somehow there was this. We don't want too much. We're on the lookout for Islamophobia now, or looking at like the Gazans were victims. I mean, I'm like, what is going on here? It's so crazy.
And it's demonic, Jamie. I mean, and I hate to be all preachy sounding, but it's demonic when you can't have any empathy for people who had their babies put into microwaves and killed. It's demonic when you can't have empathy for people who called. They had the victims' cell phones, actually called their relatives and killed them so that their relatives could see them being killed on video on their phone. If you can't have any empathy for that, something is absolutely wrong with you. And I think it just goes back to the history that for thousands of years, Jewish people have been a hated minority. Now, I am pro-Israel. I'm pro-Jewish. I don't apologize for that. I don't want to say that, the Israelis haven't made any mistakes. We all are human. We make mistakes. But just the human factor of this, of people being murdered, innocent young people at a concert, people that are trying to live their lives in a kibbutz. They're not bothering anybody. These people that live in these kibbutzes, they're not wealthy people.
No.
They're people that it's like a socialist commune. Everything is owned by the kibbutz. You don't own a car. You don't own your house. If you need a car, you share it, or you rent it from someone for a day or something. So these are people that are just trying to live in peace. They grow their own food. They have cows there that they use for milk and cheese and other things, just trying to live a peaceful life. And to have that just disturbed like that on October 7th, it's just horrifying.
Boy, I'd say. Well, Chris, thanks so much for your reflections today and for bringing it to the real for us, man, as you did when you were even over there. I know you and Tim are going to have a lot more to say about this on the Tim Jones and Chris Harp show that starts at 4:00. And, of course, you guys, if you want to see Tim and Chris live, they'll be at Harpo's this Friday as they continue on to their grand bar tour, right?
Yes, sir.
Live broadcast and happy hour from 4 to 6. And that's right there. Harpo's in Chesterfield. Harpo'sSTL.com is where you guys are going to be. But again, thank you so much for everything, brother. And got to say, it's a real honor working with you. And thank you so much for that, because we really needed to hear what you were just telling us about this. So thank you.
Jamie, I just got to tell you before we leave, because I say it on the Tim Jones and Chris Harp show, it's okay to say Little Dick Durbin.
Yeah, I know. Man, did Pam Bondi shrink it even further?
She did. Loved it.
I'll tell you what, I know. I did too. Love her. All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much, Chris. And we'll be with you at 4:00.
Thank you, James.
All right, brother. That is Chris Harps. Yeah. So Zach Bryan's making a gigantic mistake. I know that for a fact. He's come out with a song condemning President Trump and ICE, and this guy's an idiot because, well, I'll tell you why. And speaking of other celebrities, can you believe the feminazis are attacking Taylor Swift now because of her wedding plans? The left knows no boundaries whatsoever. We'll have more on that and more on the day. This is Common Sense Radio. The Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Tim Jones here from my great friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. How do I know? Simply put, they've helped me on many occasions. Here's another solution to your everyday aches and pains. The Studio Health and Wellness Center Services include Pilates and yoga, both with certified instructors. I can also highly recommend the massage therapy, which is not an indulgence. It's a proven method of healing and restoration. Trust my friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka. Chiropractic.com. That's chiropractic.com. Big things always happening at The Hideout. Tim Jones here with a reminder. The Hideout is famous for the Sunset Patio, 50 big screen TVs, live music, special events, and of course, the food. The Hideout in High Ridge features the best handcrafted burgers around, the signature Sunset Dip, Dave's Delicious Chili. See for yourself why The Hideout is the stop for lunch, dinner, or their famous happy hour on the Sunset Patio. Check it all out. HideoutSportsBar.com, Hideout Sports Bar on Facebook. See it for yourself, 3367 High Ridge Boulevard. I'll see you at the Hideout.
Craving the freshest in town? Anthony's Produce is your daily destination for nature's finest. For 28 years, we've been your trusted supplier for everything seasonal. It's homegrown apple season. Choose from many local varieties. Grab some caramel dip or try our made-in-house gourmet caramel apples. Fall decorating? We've got Hardy Mums, corn stalks, straw bales, pumpkins, gourds, Indian corn, and jumbo specialty pumpkins. Perfect for carving or pies. Plus seasoned firewood available for pickup or delivery. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6:30 and Sundays, 8 to 5 on Jungerman Road or at anthonysproduce.com.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Some praise for Attorney General Pam Bondi today at hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee, where Chairman Chuck Grassley said Bondi has returned the Justice Department to its prime mission.
Focusing on crime and getting tough on criminals is a welcome change from 4 years of Biden administration's soft on crime policy.
No such praise from the panel's top Democrat ranking member, Dick Durbin of Illinois.
In 8 short months, you have fundamentally transformed the Justice Department and left an enormous stain in American history. It will take decades to recover.
Illinois and Chicago have filed a lawsuit aiming to stop President Trump's deployment of hundreds of National Guard troops to the Windy City.
The president has portrayed Chicago and other U.S. cities as war-ravaged and lawless and argued they need federal involvement. But the lawsuit alleges that Donald Trump's long-declared war on Chicago and Illinois is unlawful and dangerous. A federal judge did not immediately block the deployment of National Guard troops, but gave the Trump administration 2 days to respond to Illinois' lawsuit. Greg Clugston, Washington.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says with the nation hobbled by trillions in debt, it's hard to understand the Democrats want to shut down the government over the goal of spending another $1.5 trillion, all for health care for those in the country illegally.
They want to spend $1.5 trillion new dollars, and they want to give health care and benefits to illegal aliens. Yes, that is a fact. It is not a Republican talking point. It's in their own document that they filed on the congressional record.
Speaker Johnson made his comments in an interview with the Salem radio network. Looking at Wall Street, it's been a down day for the major indexes. They may have been due for one, at least schedule-wise, because they've had so many record-breaking days recently. The Dow is down right now 172 points. The NASDAQ down 179. More from townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving you money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A cool front passed through the area this morning. We still have a chance for a couple of light spot showers as we get into the afternoon under cloudy skies, but you'll definitely notice the cooler temperatures with highs in the low to mid 70s today, kind of holding steady in the low to mid 70s. Lows tonight in the 50s, a nice mild day tomorrow, nearly perfect. Low to mid 70s for highs, sunny skies, dry weather the rest of the week, and mild temperatures too. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Back pain? Follow me to Esquire Sports Medicine, where they've got your back. Esquire is the oldest sports medicine clinic in St. Louis. Dr. Draghi and his team of chiropractors can get you back to work, back to life without the pain. New patients usually scheduled within 24 hours. 314-644-0885. 644-0885. EsquireSportsMedicine.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at newstalkstl.com.
Brought to you by Heroes Care, Alamo Military Collectibles, and Monocle's Pizza.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community. Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010, extension 3 today, or visit colecombs-law.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Every day, something new. No one else is really talking about this.
I'm glad you're fired up about it, too.
Trump's doing the right thing.
You know, there's so many issues.
It's over.
I think you're politically wrong.
Very upset.
I will have to agree with you.
You're one of the sweetest guys in the world for a guy who's so bad on politics.
101.9 and 94.1.
Your platform is like really, really important to us.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. Science. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't mean to trigger the left with the word science since they know nothing about it. Isn't it weird how, well, first of all, this is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. What did you think it was? Ashton's over there, too. You heard the song before, Ashton? Silence. Yes. Oh, by the way, you guys, I talked about Chris and Tim over at Harpo's on Friday, and tomorrow, my friends, Thursday, I am going to be at the Barn in Columbia, Illinois, historic downtown Columbia, Illinois. 100 different bourbons, 30 vodkas, and just many tequilas. You got all these fun little things going on Thursdays and Fridays. It's the Barn. And it's not a barn. It's like really super beautiful and awesome. And I love the fact they call it the Barn. So this is going to be like really cool. Because it's going to be a Halloween costume contest, like a witches contest. Yeah. And it'll be from 4 to 6. I'll be there from 4 to 6. We'll have the News Talk STL muscle car out there. Ethan Way going to be driving that. I might even hitch a ride with him. So we'll be out there 4 to 6 at the barn. The barn. It reminds me of that. I got to turn this music down because then it's overload for some people. But so there's a comedian. I can't remember his name, and of course, because I'm a bad planner, I didn't run down one of my favorite bits from this comedian who's from St. Louis, and he's great because he's super clean. He's Christian, does a lot of comedy at churches and stuff like that, but he's really a great guy. And I forgot his name because I interviewed him once a long, long time ago. And he had like a routine about the dress barn. And he's like, what do they call it? The dress barn. and then he's like, and then he imitated like one of the workers there. And he's like, excuse me, where are the blouses? Over there. It's like he's like doing all kinds of animal noises. You had to be there. I'll find it. I forgot his name. You guys know his name. So put him up there on the talk board, as they call it. All right, so when I took Aiden out to Arizona, I can't remember whether it was the second time or the first time. Maybe it's his first time for school at Arizona State University. We listened to a lot of his music, and I really loved it. One of the musicians that he and his friends really, really like would be Zach Bryan. Zach Bryan is a Navy veteran. He's really a talented musician and sings a lot of these kind of, I guess you could call them more country, but rock, but more younger, kind of thing, And I don't know. Just younger people like him. And he's a young guy. And yes, Phil, we did drive out to Tempe, Arizona. It was fantastic. The first time we went out there, it was great. Because what I did was we took him right along. I took him to the, I did the Route 66 route. So we did 44 out there through Texas and everything else. And we went through all of the places. So we stayed in Amarillo, where I don't know whether you guys have ever seen the Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo. Amarillo is like a great town. It's really kind of weird, but it's a great town. They've got like horse hotels in Amarillo. People put their horses in these hotels. It's like kind of like for dogs, like the people do when they go on vacation. They do that with horses in Amarillo. So anyway, I don't know whether you guys have ever been to the Cadillac Ranch, where it's a whole line of half-buried Cadillacs. And the backs are the ones sticking out of the ground, and it was great. And then we went through Tucumcari. And Tucumcari had this really crazy road that had all these old motels from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and some of them were still there. And they still like even drive-in motels, they're not no-tell motels. You drive your car into the garage. It's basically that's your hotel room. But and I remember I put something on Facebook about it, and I'll never forget that we wound up in Tucumcari, and we had a wonderful time there. Aiden was like a little like, what is this guy doing? Because he's taking me to Amarillo. I mean, I get it. I like it, but the Cadillac Ranch is cool. But I said, well, someday you might really not know, like this might not occur to you that it's cool now, but someday you're going to say, my dad took me to the Cadillac Ranch. And then we went through Tucumcari, New Mexico, and we went to all these motels, and then I did something that he probably could have died when I was doing it. We pulled over to the side of the road, and we went. I rolled my camera and I sang this song. Driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. Well, sang this whole stanza while he's standing there mortified. I have the video. I didn't expect to tell this story though, so I can't. But I have the video, and it is really funny to look back on it because Aiden's like, how can I possibly make myself disappear? My dad is singing to me on the side of a road in Tucumcari. Anyway, we had a good time. So then we went on through Arizona. And one of the things I wanted to take him to, because I went there, because one year in 1996, I drove out to the Republican National Convention in San Diego. I wanted to drive. And it took me, I had all my CDs, all my George Jones, and I climbed into the car. I left about 2 p.m, got to Oklahoma City at about 10, slept, got a hotel, and then drove all the way to Barstow, California, 17 hours in one day. Made it to Barstow, California, bought a 6-pack of beer. I was so thrilled because while it was midnight, I could say, well, actually, it's not midnight. It's actually 10 o'clock in the evening. So I've got 2 more hours to hang out before it's really midnight because it's 10 o'clock. I was so enamored by Pacific time. And so I stayed up really super late, got up in the morning, and drove. I'm not kidding you. I wish I could find the videotape of this, because right on that highway through the Mojave Desert that you go dip down into San Diego, and you're going through the Mojave Desert, and you're seeing all these fighter jets flying right over, because that's where they're practicing. So it's like the craziest thing. And everybody was going 110 miles an hour, literally everybody. And only one of them was dumb enough to take out a video camera, which is what we had at the time in 1996, not a cell phone, and VHS with a little mini VHS tape, me going 110 miles an hour. And I know I had that tape someplace, but I just don't know where it is. Then finally got to San Diego, but it was really a great trip. So anyway, we went out, then we went towards Tempe, and one of the stops we had to make, because one of the stops I made on the way out to San Diego was the Meteor Crater, which is really like a cool feature because it is just what that is. It's a meteor crater. It's a gigantic crater in the Arizona desert that is huge, created by a meteor. And so we stopped by there. It's kind of quirky, and the meteor crater was cool. And so when I went out to California, it was went through the Painted Desert. My goodness, it was a great trip. And then I remember going to a gas station, literally filling up my tank, and they gave me an Arrowhead. Because, back in the day, you guys remember this, when you'd fill up your tank, you'd get football Cardinal glasses, or you'd get a little something or other or whatever. And they gave me an Arrowhead because you get a free Arrowhead with a fill up out there. Yeah, that was great. I love the West. And so anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So Zach Bryant. So on our way out to Tempe, thanks for asking, Phil, but you guys know me. You throw a tennis ball in that corner, I'm going to get it, but I'll always kind of come back. And John, I still have those Cardinal glasses in my house. But anyway, so Zach, we were listening to Zach Bryan. So Zach Bryan must not really understand who his fans are, because nearly everybody in Aiden's stratosphere age-wise not only is a conservative, and indeed, as you all know, Aiden worked with Charlie Kirk out there in voter drives out in Tempe. So Zach Bryan, he has a lot of fans in Aiden's age group. And I'm telling you what, the kids now in their early 20s, unlike the Generation Xers or whatever, the kids now are conservative. A lot of them are. You talk about 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's a generation of conservatives. Made even stronger conservatives because of their mistrust in government as an outgrowth of COVID. And also the fact that Democrats did everything they could to destroy any possibility of young people actually having jobs and everything else down the line, because they destroyed industry. So your possibilities were limited. So I don't know what Zach Bryan is thinking in putting together this anti-ICE song, anti-Trump song.
Dead or in jail, some out-of-town boys been giving us hell. I got some bad news. I woke up missing you. My friends are all degenerates, but they're all I got. The generational story of dropping the plot. I heard the cops came. Cocky motherfuckers.
Oh, dude, hit that little thing there. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't expect that. I didn't know it was unclean. But the fact of the matter is, it's an anti-Trump song, anti-ICE, and you've got a situation where where you've lost an entire half of your audience at the very least, and that's a big mistake. Because let me tell you something, Aiden is not going to go and see Zach Bryan in concert and have to listen to him diss President Trump and diss ICE and basically diss that generation of young people. So I don't know what this guy's thinking in doing this. And I don't understand what he's thinking in terms of reaching out to his audience or whatever. I don't know what he's thinking here. But you know what? It's not my problem. That's your problem, Zach, dummy. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to continue on with more music news here on the Allman Report on News Talk STL. So, the feminazis are now turning on Taylor Swift over her wedding. This might be a good time to show her some conservative love and tell her who her real friends are. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Allman, a great friend of mine, and the guy who runs O'Fallon Family Flooring, O'FallonFamilyFloors.com, right there off of Highway K in O'Fallon. Now, this is just not just Brian. He's got an entire team of people. I think their combined experience in the flooring world is like 100 years. because what Brian did was leave a well-known flooring place because he'd had enough. And he said, I'm going to embark on this on my own. And I am going to take some really super good people with me. And I'm going to tell all the other flooring people in the community to go ahead and please hold my beer. And that's exactly what he's doing. The variety is absolute king at O'Fallon Family Floors. Brian makes sure they were just expanding. Last time I was there, they were in the middle of remodeling because they've got a whole nother back section of the flooring store, and that's going to be filled with yet more options for you. So let me tell you something. You go to Lowe's, for instance, there's a great story he tells. So he had some people who got their flooring from Lowe's, but they said at the last minute, they thought, you know what, I'm going to go and get a second opinion about this from O'Fallon Family Floors. They go in there, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. At Lowe's, I had like 7 examples or samples to choose from with this wood plank. I'm seeing 50 here. He's like, that's right. And not only did he have more variety for them, he had lower prices. I think he saved them hundreds of dollars. It was pretty amazing. And so they went with him. He's the one who goes out and does all the measuring. He's the one who makes sure everything's right. There is a lion on the side of that van, which is a van that carries product to your house so you can see it in real life. And it's a lion. One time I asked him, what does the lion mean? He goes, it's pride. You got to have pride in your business. Very few people do these days. I do. And I won't be beaten in price. I won't be beaten in variety. I won't be beaten in quality. O'FallonFamilyFloors.com. That's O'FallonFamilyFloors.com.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Looking for a fresh eating alternative for you and your family? Head on over to CJ's Restaurant and Bar in O'Fallon. CJ's literally offers something for everyone, from young to old. We're a casual American eatery with a wide-ranging menu of pastas, salads, and sandwiches, all served in a comfortable, warm environment with a family-friendly atmosphere. From vegetarian options to hearty classics. We offer dine-in, carry-out, catering, and even have a banquet room for your special events. Come see us or visit us on the web at cjsofallon.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clayton Sleep and Dr. Ogile, who has been my sleep guru for a long, long time through various iterations of a radio career. It's been great, and he's good. And a lot of people who work funky shifts and things like that really do need to rely on some of the guidance from a guy like Dr. Ogile. And it's not just funky shifts that cause problems for you by insomnia or weird sleep patterns or things that you just really don't know what to do about. Restless leg syndrome, things like that. And of course, there is the snoring bit. And apnea is really rough. And the reality is you don't have to live with it. And for that matter, neither do your loved ones, because believe me, they don't want to live with it anymore. I've known people sometimes are sleeping in separate bedrooms because the snoring is just too much. And that's really super. It's better to be together, right? Yeah. Better sleep, better life, as they say. And so the CPAP machine isn't the only way to do it. They've got a variety of ways they can resolve sleep apnea. So you can do that, all those things for you. ClaytonSleep.com. You have 2 choices. You can do the original consultation, but you can either go in and stay at their boutique hotel room, like labs, as they call them. Somebody monitors you all night. Or you just can have that consultation and they'll set you up with any kind of take-home apparatus to help you figure that out as well. So that's going to be really important for you. Dr. Ogile, thank you for supporting Free Common Sense Radio. ClaytonSleep.com. That's ClaytonSleep.com.
free speech is alive and well in America right here.
It's about time somebody stood up for true American values.
What this country needs is some backbone.
Finally, a president who wants to make real change.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. Jamie Allman here, Ashlyn there, and it's a happy Tuesday.
Is it too much to ask? I want a comfortable bed that won't hurt my back. Food to fill.
This is shocking to me.
Warm clothes and all that stuff. Shouldn't
I have actually always really liked Taylor Swift. I've always had a great deal of respect for her career. I think she is exceedingly talented. She's an amazing business person. And she even stood up a long time ago for the littler guys when she was facing off against Spotify. So, I think she's a really super good person. And I think she's very talented. I don't really listen to her albums. I know the girls love her. But I just as an entity, as a cultural entity, I think she's really super cool. So this is so weird. And I hope, and for some reason, I remember the beef against some conservatives was that, she's registering voters at her concerts. I'm thinking, well, maybe we ought to do that. That's probably a good idea. And she's a liberal. I don't really care. And my daughters don't either, right? They still love her music. So that's how it goes. So anyway, and then people who were on her about her relationship with Kelsey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And for whatever reason, that became, I don't know why people were so angrified by the sight of Taylor Swift at Arrowhead, or people were mocking her and doing all this. I never really got that. But anyway, this ought to tell Taylor Swift exactly, who her friends are. So this is a vile woman who is going after Taylor Swift because she is wanting to be happy and have babies and everything else. So she's actually openly saying that she can't wait to live the American dream, have babies, and settle down. And of course, obviously, this will inspire young women probably to do the same. You realize how wholesome and wonderful it is that you have somebody who literally is an icon for younger girls and younger women, stating matter-of-factly that, you know what, I want to settle down, get married, and have babies. Like that's a pretty compelling thing, especially since we have been through a couple of generations, of people who were told that, stay-at-home moms somehow are weak, or you come from the generation of you've come a long way, baby. Remember, it was like the two-career family. I have no doubt a while back, and again, I don't have any problem with women who are working. Clearly what I'm saying is, though, I think back in the 50s, as we went later on in the 50s and then into the 60s, there was that Gloria Steinem move to try to disperse the nuclear family, to try to separate mom and dad. And that's where we came even with the early 70s. You had the latchkey kids, the kids who come home from school and nobody's there. And that's not a reason. I'm not saying that because women who work should feel guilty. I'm saying that because that's kind of what people people
Taylor
were
Swift
doing,
is
and that's a thing. And so it's super important to have a role model like that, a person who is echoing a sentiment where they want to live this American dream and calling the American dream getting married, buying a home, and having babies, which is really great because that's not the American dream the feminazis want you to have. And so what did they do? Well, this is coming on TikTok, and of course, all the feminazis are having a temper tantrum over all this.
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further, and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Easter egg master of our generation, is not aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. And before you suggest that this was supposed to be a satirical album, I would like to remind you how she feels about this album in her own words.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
I'll try to rapid fire this as fast as I can so that my video is not an hour long, but we're going to start with the rollout of the album, the announcement.
So anyway, this is her whispering and what she's talking about. And you heard Taylor Swift say that there's not going to be another one. Like you see, this is the album I've been waiting to record my entire life. And she's indicating that she is going to maybe stop after this. And she could have stopped 10 years ago and still been ahead of everybody else. And still been right up there with Elvis. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but when you look at record sales and Frank Sinatra and that kind of stuff, she's up there, whether people like it or not. But this chick is like breaking down her album, and it's sad because this girl is fairly attractive, and I'm like, how do you become some left-wing Antifa hack with this kind of future?
Of the album on our boyfriend's football podcast. Our boyfriend who plays for the NFL, who we are now aligning our brand with, who is one of the most racist and problematic industries in our country.
Yeah. So she's now attacking Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift is marrying a football player who plays for a racist industry known as the NFL. I mean, this is where she's going. And so if you can imagine the conceit of some of these so-called Swifties who will say she's aligning us with the racist NFL by marrying this guy. It's like, wow, you've got some kind of problem. It's as if Taylor Swift somehow owes this woman so that she can stay faithful to the record she's been listening to, that some of the songs are about hating men and hating relationships. But that's not Taylor Swift's an artist. She's writing about experiences. She's not writing about her own experiences all the time. That's what art is. It's like sometimes you write poetry, which I do, sometimes, but it's not always to somebody. It can be sitting there so that somebody could take that poem and give it to somebody else, or maybe see their own experiences in it. Songwriting is similar to that. Not every single song is a reflection of one's detail by detail fact of life, and like it is with painting. Everybody sees a picture, but the people who do the picture or who do the painting are asking you to look at the painting and take from the painting what you feel and what you want. And like for instance, the Mona Lisa is a perfect example of that. You look at that painting, and I guarantee you there could be 5 people looking at it, and 5 different people have something different to take away from the Mona Lisa, or it has 5 different meanings to 5 different people. That's how it goes. So anyway, this idiot is basically taking every song that Taylor Swift has ever written so literally that the fact that Taylor Swift is getting married and wanting to settle down and have children is somehow a betrayal to these lonely, jealous harpies who listen to her.
Yes. Listen, I don't know how long Taylor Swift's been doing this, but I know it's been a pretty good amount of time. She's worked pretty hard for her career.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you acknowledged that. But now she's saying, well, now she's just giving it up by settling down and doing all this and abandoning us. She was the one I wanted to listen to when I hated people. I mean, you've heard some of the Taylor Swift songs. They're really good. They're not like the Alanis Morissette, I'm going to stab you type of songs. They're just more, they're designed more for girls to take in than guys. But she doesn't want Taylor Swift to be, to live unlike her songs. Hey, I love the song about hating men and hating dating. Why are you loving men and getting married? That's their whole thing. Pretty crazy, huh? I'm just wondering, do you think Taylor Swift gives a crap what this chick says? A, yes, or B, no. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Hey, by the way, speaking of, celebrity events and cultural events, Whoopi Goldberg has some ideas for what we should all do for the Super Bowl with Bad Bunny appearing there. Charming. All that straight ahead.
Too much, am I going overboard to want that touch? I shouted out to the night, give me what I deserve, 'cause it's my right. Shouldn't I have this?
You talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity. And I'm sick and tired of it.
1019 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Woods Basement Systems, and we're going to be getting into that time because you all know what happens is right around the end of October. It gets all rainy and everything, and all the leaves wind up sticking to the driveway and blah, 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 blah. And really what ultimately happens is your basement is leaking again. And you're thinking, oh, okay. I heard Allman talk about Woods Basement Systems a while back. I didn't do anything about it. And now I have water in the basement again. So here's what you need to do. JamieLovesWoods.com, JamieLovesWoods.com. And you go there and you'll see what they have to offer you in terms of waterproofing, in terms of sealing up those basement walls and cracks. I have to get them out lickety-splickety now because, we had that rain couple weeks ago. It was torrential. And then I saw another leak. They'd already been out there helping me out, but foundations change, walls change, and boom, there's another leak. And I'm going to have Woods out because I wouldn't call anybody else anyway. Even if they didn't sponsor my show, they are the most positively reviewed basement-y contractor on the planet. You can see for yourself on Yelp or Google. And they've been providing free estimates since 1986. So they'll come out, totally give you a free estimate, no problem at all. They've added something new here too, and that is an adjustment and a repair of shifting concrete. So they do concrete leveling. So I've seen some homes like this where the concrete slabs like patios and driveways are becoming a little cattywampus, whatever, sometimes even steps leading up to the home, that kind of thing. It's a natural thing. It can happen, and they'll fix that for you and get that for you. So all things basement-y and all things concrete-y. Let's put it that way. JamieLovesWoods.com. That's JamieLovesWoods.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
It was this date, October 7th, 2 years ago, when Hamas carried out that deadly attack in Israel.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. Jamie will be in his parka and toque. What is that? In his pool next week. What's a toque? You know what a toque is, Ashley? Or toque? Oh, it's probably a. Is that a misspelling or something? What is that? What's happening next week? You know something I don't know? Hat with a ball on top. Oh, okay. I do have a hat with a ball on top. I like those kind of hats. I don't know why, but I do. All right, people. We haven't heard from Whoopi lately, have we? By the way, I was listening to somebody. I think they were talking about it. Maybe it was Vic and Ken or something, talking about Ozempic. I think Whoopi had a bout with Ozempic at one point, and I don't really understand the. I can't figure out why people would be taking a pill to lose weight. Like, I can't imagine it being safe in any way, shape, or form. Now, if somebody's like morbidly obese, and it really isn't mad, because some people, of course, are so obese that they have to do something just to be able to kind of survive. I get it. But Ozempic apparently is like something like people just take like vitamin B12, you know, it makes them skinny, whatever. You can't possibly believe that taking a pill to lose weight is good for you. You know, I mean, I just don't, John says some people can't lose weight. That's true. I mean, some people actually cannot lose weight, but I still can't imagine. And I could see, again, the efficacy of Ozempic being there for people who are, you know, like morbidly obese. Like you've got to drop 100 pounds. But people who like want to lose 20 pounds or stay slim or whatever, and I can't imagine that being good for you, but it's not my body, you know? Anyway, Whoopi Goldberg has an idea for all you going to the Super Bowl when Bad Bunny comes to the Super Bowl. She was on The View, and this is what she had to say, what y'all need to do.
Anyway, she's threatening to go to the Super Bowl when Bad Bunny is there and round up all these people that are illegal immigrants. Do you think that she would go if it was Garth Brooks or Eminem or Taylor Swift or any other white person?
Let me understand what you're saying, because she's going to go to the Super Bowl and round up. How's she going to know who's who?
Because the Supreme Court has given permission to question anyone who has a Spanish accent or has a dark skin.
Yeah. So here's
That's why.
Here's
my idea.
Everybody get a little cocoa butter, sit in the sun. That's the first thing.
Ooh, look, I think Whoopi is suggesting people go blackface to the Super Bowl or brown face. Like if a white person suggests, you know what you ought to do is you ought to just color your face. Like, ooh.
Everybody get a little cocoa butter, sit in the sun. That's the first thing. and this is the only time you can probably ever do this. Give yourself a Latin accent.
You know, Whoopi, that is
And
such a
just
good
see-
idea.
And see if she can tell who's who.
It's great how she's actually, like, she's talking to her audience like any one of them is going to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Because hardly anybody goes to the Super Bowl because they can't afford the tickets. So Whoopi's acting as if like everybody who's watching The View is going to maybe go to the Super Bowl, and here's how they ought to dress. It's like, you realize how expensive it is to go to the Super Bowl? Like, nobody goes to the Super Bowl that I know. I mean, I guess I know some people, but you know, and this suggestion somehow that the Christy Noem's kidding, right? She said they're trolling people. Because believe me, there aren't any illegal aliens going to the Super Bowl either. I mean, what are tickets to the Super Bowl? They're like $3,000 or something. People are acting like this is like some kind of communal event that everybody kind of goes to, and it's absolutely just not true. Hardly anybody goes to the Super Bowl, and we can't go to the Super Bowl anyway. Hey, I want to kind of begin the show, end the show like I began it, and that is with the Dick Durbin. He had a really bad day when he on the Judiciary Committee tries to go after Pam Bondi. You know, Dick Durbin, who is the Pope's new boyfriend. And John says approximately $3,000 for the cheapest tickets, $20,000 for premium seats. So there certainly isn't going to be any illegal alien going to the Super Bowl. Gee whiz. Anyway, Bondi just bodied Dick Durbin earlier in the day, and then she decided she was going to team up with Marsha Blackburn to humiliate Dick Durbin over the Epstein files and everything
February,
else.
you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then
She actually didn't say the Epstein file case is sitting on my desk for review. She didn't say that, first of all. And of course, I remember talking about it when I first heard it and telling people, you do realize that Pam Bondi's a lawyer, right? And you do realize that if she's cornered on her statement about the file sitting on her desk, she will tell you she was talking about files sitting on her desk and not necessarily the Epstein files. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But Dick Durbin is sitting there quoting her, and she didn't say that. That's the beginning of the fraud.
February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, excuse me, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo. You also didn't let me respond to the HIDA question. The budget transfers $196 million for high-intensity drug trafficking areas to the Office of Justice Programs, OJP. The Justice Department will continue to administer those grants under OJP in 2026.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, You pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July, when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, "There's no incriminating client list." Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
I want to stop here just for a second because in this following exchange, I want you to envision Pam Bondi in a leather skirt with knee-high leather black boots and a whip in her hand, and Senator Dick Durbin with a ball gag in his mouth. Okay? All right. Now you've got the vision.
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years? Why did you fight to not disclose the flight logs, Senator Durbin?
Yes, Mommy.
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to produce those logs, and I asked her to put it in writing, and she never did.
Yeah, I think Senator Blackburn would quarrel with you on that.
Well, I will quarrel with you as to
Ooh, now there are going to be two of them.
read somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
You weak little
I'm
worm.
not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. You won't do it today, but eventually you will. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
I got
Mr. Chairman.
And then what happens here is Pam Bondi then walks away, whip in hand, and sits in a chair. And then Marsha Blackburn, the senator, dressed in a red skirt, leather skirt, and red leather boots and a whip, descends down a rope to deliver her punishment to Senator Dick Durbin.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, since Senator Durbin referred to me, I would really appreciate the opportunity to correct the record.
Proceed.
Because Senator Durbin knows I repeatedly asked for those flight logs. I brought up the subpoena. You even shut down the committee because you didn't want that, and you know I submitted that in writing, and you continue to misrepresent that, and I am not going to let that record stand.
Yes, mistress. Where's the Pope when I need him?
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Senator Durbin.
I just want to make it clear that the reason that
I wonder if the Pope will intervene in running interference for Dick Durbin on this one.
Business ended was that your side invoked the 2-hour rule. Point number 2 is
Although I have a feeling that if Marsha Blackburn and Pam Bondi were in that room with Dick Durbin and then the Pope walked in, the fun would begin, I think, at that point. Well, that's enough of that. I just have a creative mind, and I can't help that. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Allman Report. Ashlyn, thank you so much for everything. And you guys, don't forget Tony Colombo and Company is on the way. This is the awesome News Talk STL 101.9 and 94.1. Have a blessed one, everybody.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Their Provia windows combine old world craftsmanship the professional way, the Provia way, with over 65 years of combined experience.